Hi everyone. So this video is going to be for brides that are looking to buy their wedding dress, internationally. Let's say you're looking for like a bridal designer in Africa. So just a couple of things that you need to keep in mind before going ahead and saying yes to your dress. Number one pro is that the price may be cheaper, by the time you do like the conversion, for the rates of how much they're charging you for like a very beautiful dress, you might be getting more bang for your buck in that way. Another thing is, in terms of if you are like of African descent, if you are a curvy bride, with those African stylists working more with more curvy women, they tend to produce or make dresses that fits, African American people better. So like if you're curvy, if you have a wider hips and all that, because they're used to making clothes or making dresses for those kind of clients, then the dresses does tend to come out very well. But let's talk about the cons of going with an international or African designer. So one thing is time difference. So you have to kind of ensure that maybe you have to wake up early. That way you can get all your points across to whoever the designer is. Another thing is, sometimes your wake up time might be their sleeping time. Your sleeping time might be their wake up time. Or maybe when you want to talk to the designer, they might be, in between something. Maybe they're attending to another client. So that's something that you also have to keep in mind when you're going with an international or an African designer. Another thing to keep in mind is the shipping amount. So you might be getting a dress for, let's say, 1K, 2K, but you also have to keep in mind with shipping costs, depending on how heavy the dress is. Let's say you're doing DHL Express or UPS, it can kind of have more weight in terms of how much you're gonna pay for your dress. So that's something else that you want to keep in mind. So you want to kind of calculate, or maybe if you already have a vendor, or maybe if you're talking to the designer, make sure that you kind of get a ballpark of what the weight of the outfit is going to be, what price they're looking at in terms of transportation costs or shipping costs to you. Ask them if they do like a mock-up dress or custom, kind of like a mock-up dress that they can ship to you to kind of get your fitting better. Also, if you're going to be doing a dress that has a mesh fabric, you want to see if there's a way that they can send you the mesh. That way you can match it to your color if the designer is not doing a trunk show here in the US. So that's something else that you want to discuss before saying yes to the dress. Another thing is you want to look at also the customer service experience might be different. So let's say, if you're talking to someone in Africa, the customer service that you get might be a little different. So you have to kind of mind that they have a different verbiage in terms of communication. So something that they might say might kind of seem borderline. It might seem, depending on the conversation. I'm not saying it's going to be rude, but just in case. So just kind of keep that in mind, that the lingo is different. So that way, when you are talking to someone, maybe it's their personal assistant that's talking to you, kind of keep that in mind, that the lingo, the verbiage, how it might come across, kind of give them that leeway that, it might not sound to the kind of customer experience that you're used to. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is the fabric smell. So depending on who the designer is using for their fabric as their fabric vendor, depending on where they're sourcing their fabric from, just kind of make sure that you're talking to them about the smell. So make sure you're asking the designer, hey, how are you sourcing the fabric? Is there a possibility that this might come with a smell that's not really favorable to me? are you guys gonna offer like any laundry service, like trying to clean up the dress before I get the dress? Like, make sure that you're asking those kind of questions. Like when it comes to smell, like how do you guys treat that? Because you have to keep in mind that this is coming from a whole nother country. Their atmosphere, their ventilation is very different from the US. So the last thing you want is for you to get the dress and you're like, this dress stinks, I can't wear it. So keep that in mind. Like if it's something that you need the designer before they ship it to you, to make sure that they do some laundry service on it, make sure that you get that point across. That way they can give you a full amount of what you need to pay for the dress and there's no surprises. Okay, so another one is